So thankful for you showing up tonight, joining me. I am Reynolda Jones, and I specialize in supporting women leaders, women entrepreneurs who feel stretched thin, especially during the holiday season. In the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'll be walking you through this process. You'll walk away with real strategies that you can use when the holidays feel like a double edge, meaning you feel like holidays come with full of joy and full of stress. Now, if you're tuning in live on Facebook or Instagram, type in the chat the word ready. And if you're here, I want you to leave this season with less guilt and more ease. So type in the word ready, and that lets me know to keep going. Hi, Tyler IJT. Thank you for joining me. Great. So I see that there are people here, so let's get ready and let's begin. Thank you. All right. All right, thank you. I see people joining. All right, so as you know, the holidays can be a paradox. You can feel very happy about the holidays, but the holidays can actually be a really hard time for many, in addition to the happiness that comes with it. There are fun traditions, and then there's people we love, but there can also be stress and very big feelings. And research has shown that the holiday season is usually a very stressful time for many women. It's filled with traditions, it's filled with connection and meaningful events, and with pressure, anxiousness, anticipation, time limits, high expectations, and sometimes old relational dynamics or past traumas showing up. You might show up for others' gatherings and feel joy, and these feelings are real, but then there's the underlying stress, the questions that come up. Will I be triggered? Will I lose my energy? Will I feel guilty if I say no? If you're recognizing that you may have both of these feelings, the joy and the feeling of guilt sometime with the holidays, this is the first step. So I hope you have your pencil and paper ready, because I'm giving you some tips that you can start applying today to improve your holiday. And once you see this two sides of these situations, you can begin to prepare for both sides. And tonight I'm going to fill you with tools that help you engage in the season well, not just surviving the season, but to feel restored and still have your energy by the end of the holiday season. So the first tip I have is called an escape plan. That is the first strategy. You want to have an escape plan. Now, I'm not talking about complete avoidance. We still want to communicate appropriately and effectively to other people. If you choose to go to someone's event this holiday, be prepared, not anxious, okay? That is the key. Be prepared, not anxious. Being prepared helps you to feel a little more calm and a little more in control of your situation. And when we show up unprepared, we can easily feel overwhelmed, easily feel stressed, or pulled into things that we don't want to be in. So preparation protects us and protects your peace before the moment even begins. So here's an example of what the escape plan can look like. When you arrive, you might say, I'm so glad to be here. I do have another commitment later, so I'll start to head out for after 3 hours. This statement helps to set an expectation that you're going to be present, but not there the entire time. The other reason to have an escape plan, depending on who you're spending time with, is if you sense the dynamic shifting in a way that drains you or that's dangerous, you give yourself permission to leave. You don't have to stay and engage in a way that's harmful to you. So in the chat, if you're watching this, share a phrase you might say if you need to leave early this holiday season. I'll give you a few minutes to think about that, and then let me know in the chat. What are some things you might say to help your escape plan this holiday season? I know it takes a little time to type on these phones or computers, so I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, maybe you don't know the phrase right now, but if you think about a phrase, having that phrase ready means you have less mental scramble and you actually create a little more freedom for yourself. Remember, you don't have to lie here, you can be honest. Seeing an exit strategy, setting an exit strategy is not giving up or avoidance, it's actually protecting your energy. So, Taylor on Instagram shared, I have other stops to make. Exactly. That is a great exit strategy statement. Great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Now, before we go on, I do want to mention something that supports everything we're talking about tonight. I have two things that are on my website, and I will put the link in the comments as well. I have my holiday escape plan. It's a downloadable, fillable form that you can get tonight that includes all these little prompts. And I also have my Worthy or Royalty Self-Care Planner. It's available for anyone watching today. You can use the code. The code is Stronger Season. Stronger Season. These books have the exact same information. It's just that the covers are different and different functions. 20% off. It expires in a few days. Shipping and handling applies. And currently no tariffs on it, but if I do have to order more, tariffs will have to apply. So today's price will not be tomorrow's price in about a week. So get your Worthy of Royalty Self-Care Planner. This also helps you with establishing boundaries as well. 20% off, code Stronger Season. All right. Let's go to the next tip. This is tip number 2. So tip number 2 is make it memorable and being present. Make it memorable and be present. If we focus only on what is coming ahead, the next party, the next obligation, the next item that needs to be purchased, we miss the beauty of what's happening right now. Okay. I want to remind you, if you place all your focus on things ahead, you will miss out on the beauty of life that is happening right before your eyes in this very moment. We can do this by tuning into our different senses. So let's start right now. Let's just practice it. You don't have to type anything right now, but let's just practice this. What do you smell right now? What do you feel right now? So for instance, I'm feeling the comfort of a blanket on my legs. I'm feeling my bottom in a chair. What do you taste? What do you see? I'm seeing my room. I'm seeing the beauty that I created in the space. I see a table. I see a microphone. What do you see? And when you pause for a moment and you are there, that's where our memories are formed. That's where joy lives. We can create pleasurable memories. We don't have to stay in unhealthy memories or stuck memories or traumatic memories. So in the chat, type one sensory detail you'll notice at your next holiday event. An example might be the smell of your cousin's pumpkin pie or your grandmother's sweet potato pie, the sparkle of the Christmas lights. In the chat, let me know what you'll notice at your next holiday event. Okay. Janice on Facebook said the taste of spaghetti. Okay. Yes. Great. Good example. That sensory anchor will help you pull back into the present when the feeling of overwhelm creeps in. And I gotta tell you, when you really focus on those senses, especially taste, it actually intensifies something within you. Okay, so if I focus on taste, it intensifies the taste for me. If I focus on hearing the sound, I hear it a little more louder, a little more clear. It lets me know I'm here and that I am safe. Good. Good. The smell of dressing. Okay. These are good ideas. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Are we ready for the next tip? Tip number 3. All right. The next tip is stick to your boundaries. Now, I often get people, or even in my therapy sessions, I hear my clients say, I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. And I usually just say, like, if you are focusing on not hurting people's feelings and setting boundaries, I may not be the best person for that, because I'm going to tell and be honest, and it may not always be easy for other people to hear. And I'm not rude about it, but this is what we could do. Boundaries aren't about being hurtful. They're about being very clear, being healthy and respectful of yourself and for others, and they define what you will and will not accept. We have to be willing to show others our desire to be respected, or we'll settle for poor treatment. And when you hold your boundary, when you follow through on it, you're modeling respect for yourself and inviting others to respect you. Give yourself permission this holiday season to say, thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to join between 5 and 7, and then I'll need to step away. And then actually leaving around 7, right? So following through on what you say. If you say that you're leaving between 5 and 7, but you stay till 10 p.m., okay, then that starts a whole nother experience for you. And you didn't stay within your boundaries. Another way you can set this boundary and follow through is, I appreciate your effort, but I need to keep my holiday choices balanced. So I have to take a small piece and then pass. Thanks. Or I have to take a piece and then take the other home. I don't know about you, but I've had some holidays where I've been to multiple homes, especially my family in the South, and they have Southern hospitality. But everybody wants me to eat a whole plate full of food. Well, that's not doable for me, right? And it's not doable for most people. But I could make an adjustment to still respect them and say, hey, I love what you have to offer. I'll take this, and then maybe I can take some home. So in the chat, type one boundary you will commit to this season. One boundary you'll commit to this season. For example, I will say no to late night events after 9:30, or I will not engage in political talk at the dinner table. What is one boundary you will commit to this season? I'll give you guys a few seconds to type it out. One boundary you'll commit to this season. Okay, Janice Gibson said that she will focus on tea, using tea to be present. One boundary she also includes getting to the dinner on time and leaving within an hour. Okay, that's a great commitment. I will say no to eating after 8:30 p.m. Perfect, perfect. So those are your lines, and now we have to work on reinforcing those. Great, great. Thank you for sharing. All right, so now the next strategy is a little bit deeper. We're going to have to go a little bit deeper here, and we're going to use these tools they're tools from DBT. You may have heard of DBT, but DBT stands for dialectical behavioral therapy. And basically it means not going too deep into an issue, but more of how to manage an issue, how to regulate our emotions, and how to respond without judgment. Okay, so we're going to use two different types of this. The first one is called Cope Ahead. This is an emotional regulation technique. The next one is called Dear Man. This is an effective communication technique. These both are to proactively prepare for a situation you know will challenge you. So let's start with Cope Ahead. First, if you want to write all these down, that's great. So with Cope Ahead, first you want to describe the situation you expect might be hard. For example, your aunt's comments, rehashing old dynamics, sitting at the table and talking about political stuff. Okay? The next one with Cope Ahead, the next step with Cope Ahead is decide what skills you will use in that moment. Decide what skills you will use in that moment. The next step in Cope Ahead is to imagine yourself in that situation and successfully using the skills. And then we want to rehearse what we'll say and how you'll act. And then practice relaxation so that your body can support your mind and what's to come for it. So with Cope Ahead, this is just an example that I have seen in my therapy spaces, but the one where your aunt makes a comment. So maybe your aunt has a political view that is very different than yours, and for very good reason, you do not agree with this. You have made a goal or made a boundary that you will not communicate about politics at the dinner table, right? So we got to reinforce that. So we're at this dinner table and she's bringing this up. The two coping skills that I might use is, okay, making sure I'm present. So I'm going to do that by using one of my senses, and also communicating that this may not be in alignment with what I want to do for my holiday. Because my aunt in this particular example has very strong opinions, I know she's going to say something that I may not agree with. So I'm going to practice on how I communicate it without escalating, because she might. And then if that happens, I have my exit plan in place, and I am going to reinforce that and be okay with it. So I will have to practice that. So, and then, okay, I have a few comments here. Jenny said, if they want to talk politics, I would change the subject right away about something not so boring. Absolutely. So that might work for you. There's some people that are just tough. And so, but that's why establishing the boundary ahead of time is so important, right? Because you need to know if this happens, if this tends to be a general conflict issue, we have to be prepared for it. Okay? So, all right, that is Cope Ahead. Basically, identifying the challenge, practicing it, role-playing it, recognizing what skills you're going to use before you get there, and then using it. Let me take a sip of my tea. Now the next step is Dear Man. And Dear Man is an acronym. It is a structured communication tool when you need to ask for something or you need to say no. Dear Man, the D stands for describe, E stands for express your feelings, A stands for assert, R stands for reinforce, M stands for staying mindful, A stands for appear confident, and N stands for negotiate. So let's apply this real quick. Here's the situation. Your grandma makes a pie that you love and enjoy, and she expects you to have a second item or a second slice of this pie. So first you'll describe, Grandma, I love your pie. It means a lot. You're only stating facts there. Okay. E, we express our feelings. When you ask for me to take more, I feel pressured. A stands for assert. I plan to have one piece only. I'm working on having a balanced routine this season, especially with the sweets that I'm consuming. And R stands for your support, stands for reinforcing. So saying something positive or showing something positive. Hi, Deb, the counselor. Thank you for joining me. Showing something positive. So R stands for reinforcing or rewarding. Your support means so much. It helps me honor my health goals. In this, you want to be mindful, meaning stay on the script despite the comments you get. A stands for appear confident. Stay calm and keep steady eye contact no matter what. And then N stands for negotiate, because we can't always get what we want. Sometimes we do have to give a little bit. So we could say, if I enjoy one piece now, Grandma, maybe I'll help you pack up the rest of the pie and we can share some later. So I want you to think about a situation this season where you'll use cope ahead or dear man and type in the chat now. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. I can see myself using it with family when it comes to having holiday dinner. And I'll give you a few seconds. Where do you see yourself using the cope ahead method or possibly the dear man method? Cope ahead method or dear man method? Okay, I see that Mr. Brady shared some of his things about setting a boundary. He said, this is not the right time. That's a great boundary. Thank you. He's also saying that he'll be paying attention to what he sees and what he smells, such as smelling like strawberry pie that he tends to get when he's in Tennessee, from my understanding. Okay, thank you. All right. So we're going to move ahead. Again, if I don't see your comment in real time, I will come back and respond. Sometimes I don't see comments in the time. Thanksgiving dinner, I only want one serving. Okay, thank you, Mary, for sharing that. Setting that boundary, communicating about only wanting one serving. Okay, Brady, Facebook is saying, I will try one piece at this time. Good communication, good effective communication. All right, we're on tip number 5. I call this beauty amongst the ashes. Sometimes the hardest seasons leave the most growth. If you look at how far you've come, despite the past storms that you've experienced, you are still here and you are present. And that is beauty. I want you to reflect. You don't have to put this in a chat. I want you to reflect. What have you learned about yourself through all these holiday seasons? How have you begun to protect yourself? Just a few minutes of self-reflection. What have you learned about yourself through these holiday seasons? How have you begun to protect yourself? And not judging that either of these things are good or bad, but just acknowledging that they are present. And finally, the list. That's what I call it, the list. But it's really the coping list. Making a coping list in advance for this season is a practical, meaningful step. When you're triggered or overwhelmed, your mind can go blank. But your list is ready and it's physically there for you. So yes, make that list. Think about, and maybe you have this, you can put it in the chat. What are your go-to coping skills? And then make sure that you write them down. I have so many clients telling me, I remember my coping skills in my head. I've had people tell me they don't have any coping skills after working with them for a year. And then we sit down and go over them, and they have over 20 coping skills. This is what I'm saying. Our brain negotiates things too much. Put it on paper. Put it on paper. Okay, so Janice is saying, Grandma, thanks for the pie, but one piece is my limit for the day. However, I plan to take a piece home and enjoy tomorrow. You know I love your pie. It's my favorite. Oh, that's great. That is great. You've learned to limit your diet, to not overeat because others do. Absolutely. We don't have to do things because others do if it's not healthy for us. And it may not be healthy for them, right? We're more prone to do things that we wouldn't normally do depending on the type of people that we're around. Just saying. All right. I want to thank you for staying with me. And if you're thinking, yes, I need help making this stick. If you're in the states of Michigan, New Jersey, and Vermont, because those are the states that I'm licensed in to provide therapy, I have 2 openings for private therapy sessions this season for women leaders who want to fully thrive, who want to work on protecting their energy, setting clear boundaries, and enjoying the season without guilt. Now, if that is you, you can send me a direct message right after this live, or I'll put a link to for you to book a consultation with me. It's only 15 minutes, and I love to see if we're a good fit to work together. Now, also, before you go, if you want a tool to support everything we discussed tonight, and if you prefer something you can hold, that you can write in, that you can carry with you, I have 2 things. I mentioned earlier, I have a holiday, what is it called? The holiday survival plan. It is only a few dollars. It is downloadable. You can get it tonight, and you can start filling that thing out so you can work on your coping, right? It has all those things that we mentioned today for you to create your own plan for your holiday. And again, I created a Worthy of Royalty self-care planner. You give so much to others, and it's time to give back to yourself. The Worthy of Royalty self-care planner helps you establish a daily self-care rhythm. It has guided prompts. It has adult coloring to help calm you down. There's gentle reflections in here and intentional practices. They're all wrapped up in this beautiful, elegant design. It fits easily in a purse. You can take it anywhere with you. And, it's also a great conversation starter because just look how beautiful they are, right? Now, for those joining me tonight live, you can use the code Stronger Season for 20% off. The code expires in a few days, and shipping and handling applies. This journal is just a beautiful companion to help you practice your boundaries throughout the season and throughout the year. Any questions so far? Okay, I'm gonna put code. I think I can put it in here. Stronger Season for 20% off of the Worthy of Royalty self-care planner. The link. I think I can do this. I think it went in there. Okay. So to wrap up, you gave yourself about 15, 20 minutes today, and that's actually a very compassionate way to be kind to yourself. That's an act of leadership towards yourself. So here's my last prompt for you to post in the chat. What is one actionable step you'll take in the next 24 hours to honor your boundary. In the chat, what is one actionable step you'll take in the next 24 hours to honor your boundary? And I'll give you a few seconds or a few minutes. Okay, Denise has posted quite a few things here in the chat. She says she's learned to limit her diet to not overeat because of others. Her coping skills usually come at different times due to the visitation. Okay, Brady Jones said he's been in the military. I am caught up in his surroundings. Okay. Okay. Again, the last question is giving you a few seconds. What is one actionable step you'll take in the next 24 hours to honor your boundaries? Okay. And again, people could be typing and I can't quite see it. So I am going to start wrapping up as you type, and I will slow down if something pops up. I want to thank you all on Instagram and Facebook for being present. Okay, I got a few people. So the steps you want to take in the next 24 hours to honor your boundaries. Janice states, I will turn my TV off and read about something I haven't read lately of importance. Oh, great. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I see your steps. Very proud of you with that. Mary Jones says, write down some of my boundaries and check my language. Those are all beautiful steps. Proud of you for taking that, really reflecting on those things and giving yourself permission to make changes or adjustments, whether they're small or big. They all make a difference. Thank you for sharing. All right, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for protecting your peace, showing up on your terms and showing up for yourself, leading the energy and taking care of yourself is, again, a strategy. It doesn't have to be something very difficult, but it's an act of self-care. And I will see you next time. My next live is in December, but I'll see you all throughout in the comments on my business pages, liking posts, leaving comments, and sharing. Until next time, good night.